Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have a breakthrough on this police force efficiency question. Your police force would be more efficient than mine, let's say. Let's say we have lots of completing police forces. Now, there's nobody who's stopping anybody else from policing, right? We're only going to use economics, right? No one's going to use physical force, right? But the police have stopped saying that they're the only ones that are enforcing law. Now, are they still always enforcing the law? Is the only law that they don't enforce anymore? Are they selective about the laws they don't enforce? Maybe I'm not as clear as I thought I was on it. How many of the laws if you wanted open competition policing, how many of the laws would you not enforce? Right? The police would simply stop enforcing the law of other police stations opening. So you could open a police station, but where's your source of revenue? Is this voluntary taxation now? Like, where's your source of revenue? Why would you open a police station? The police don't make a profit. That's what we're doing here. Police don't make a profit. That's right. Government doesn't make a profit. Ever. Even if they try, they never make a profit. That's right. Oh, yeah. Government can't make a profit. Well, if that's true, then none of these police forces are going to make a profit. How does the police force that we have right now make a profit? They spend every penny they get. But he wants them to get their money voluntarily. So if society were voluntarily taxed, would that take care of your issue? That might be the only answer that would clearly get you out of all your quandaries. I mean, right now you guys are fucked. You guys have like a whole society full of anarchic police states fighting with each other. He says, Filthy Heretic says, trying to be more efficient. He says the most efficient one would win. Look, the most efficient one wins in a capitalist economy where force has been banished. Why do you think the most efficient one would win if police were all competing? Now maybe he thinks that the police wouldn't compete force-wise, right? But who's the authority that would stop them from competing force-wise? Is there some authority over top who would say you can't use force, you must only use efficiency? You must only use advertising for less money. Is that what it is? You can run a police station and a police force, but the only advertisement you can make is that you'll do it for less money. Other than that, you have to do the exact same thing that the other police stations were already doing. You can't act differently. That's pretty weak. Would that satisfy them? No, I think voluntary taxation's your only answer. If the police were funded by what the people in society were willing to pay, that's the closest thing. Now, then you're going to be you anarcho-capitalist idiots are going to be in the boat where there's some bum wandering the streets who doesn't consent to the laws, right? And he thinks he should be able to piss where he wants, shit where he wants, and nobody can do anything about it. And we would arrest him for trespassing and shitting on somebody's lawn or something. We'd put him in jail even though he doesn't consent, and you would say, this is terrible, but it was a voluntarily funded police force. So, now, if you want to really get, how shall I say, if you want to get persnickety about it, the United States America has a pretty voluntarily funded police force and military. We vote our people in, if we really wanted to vote for lower taxes, then it would really be a thing. We'd be so mad about it, we would get them, But we don't. We vote for more government spending. So we're a voluntarily taxed society because we vote our representatives in. Now that, of course, is going to destroy the heads of the anarcho-capitalists. But we vote on our taxes, and we can raise them and lower them. They tend to raise over time, but sometimes they lower them. And when they lower them, Trump lowers the taxes, and the Democrats just about shit the bed. They couldn't believe it. It's terrible. The world's falling apart. Taxes can't go down. They almost died. So, I think we're a pretty voluntarily taxed society. Now, if that would make you happy, then the police that we have running around right now should be fine. But that's obviously not going to make them happy. No, I don't get exactly what it is. But if it's a question of profit, then just realize the police station right now doesn't make a profit. And how would you define a profit? How would they? What is the competition over? Like when you go buy a CD, whoever you bought that CD from won the competition. So when you go put your money into a police station, when you give your money to a police station, that police station won the competition for that consumer. Okay? Well, I could go put my money into the Mexican police stations and live down in Mexico. I could go put my money into the Russian police station and live in Russia. So the fact that I'm willing to set here in this geographic region and put my money into this police station when they send me the tax form every year or whatever it is, then that means I'm voluntarily. So these guys live in such la-la land, they don't realize that a lot of the stuff they're talking about exists in the world around them already. Like competing police forces. That is states. That's what states are. Africa's full of them. The Middle East is full of them. Europe used to be full of them until America pacified it. Now America's not over there pacifying it anymore, and it's falling straight to hell again. So sometimes these anarcho-capitalists don't realize that they're talking about things that already obtain or have obtained in the past. Here's another point about this efficiency of your little police stations being efficient or not. Soviet Russia didn't make a profit. Nazi Germany didn't make a profit. Fascist Italy, Imperial Japan, they didn't make a profit, right? Soviet Russia spent and spent and spent, and everything they spent was taken out of the hides of slaves. And they spent very little because slaves don't produce a lot. So they actually didn't have very much to spend. And where we thought they had 150 bombers or whatever, and it turns out they had 13, and 6 of them didn't even fly. And it cost them their blood and tears to make that shitty machinery that didn't even work. Garbage bombs that didn't explode, trucks that don't run for more than 2,000 or 3,000 miles. Garbage they spent all their wealth on. What little wealth they had, taken out of the skin of slaves. And that was not an efficient empire. They lose in the efficiency game, but they're still in the game playing. They're like a business that's just able to eke out its bills, just not making a profit. So there is already competition in policing. Your fantasy world of doing away with the monopoly on force. See, that's their problem. They're dropping the context of what a monopoly is. They said they hear the word monopoly on force, and they remember antitrust. And isn't antitrust that monopolies are bad? And yet the government has a monopoly on force, So at the base of their stuff, like their very first get-go, is a junky, crappy thought like that, equating a monopoly from antitrust and the government monopoly on force. The government monopoly on force is the first thing. And then inside of that, the economy operates and you have monopolies of other kinds. But the government monopoly on force comes first. Once that occurs, other things can develop. That was in 1787 that we established the government monopoly on force. And we had a little to do about it in the 1860s, but we ironed that out in 1865 and on forward. We've had that ironed out. So we've had competition. We know, I guess that's. Let me close on this. If these anarcho-capitalists were better students of history, then they would realize the things that they're saying are descriptions of history. But they don't know their history. They really don't know their history. You know, I hear them saying this stuff and I just say, oh, well, that's like Soviet Russia, or oh, that's like Nazi Germany, or oh, well, that's like the internecine wars that were going on in such a time period. Or, oh, that's like the little teeny city-states of Greece, right? Every city-state of Greece, a little teeny empire unto itself. Always conquering each other and warring with each other. Plato himself was captured and was enslaved and had to be purchased out of slavery. So it's like they don't know their history, or they wouldn't be doing this nonsense. And they're so naive that they equate terms like antitrust for monopolies and the monopoly of force. And they're so innocent and naive of philosophy that they actually believe in something called the principle of consistency. Right? I mean, so they would praise the Soviets for consistently killing dissenters in their press. They would praise the Nazis for consistently killing Jews. And they would praise Ted Bundy because he upheld the principle of consistency, because he consistently hunted down and killed innocent women. And consistency is stupid. It's you need to be consistent about your principles, but consistency is not a principle. See, they just start off with crappy, junky thinking, equations. They equate this and that. They conflate terms. They don't care about definitions. And then they just run away with it. And they build whole crappy garbage theories that don't reply to reality and that end up in corners like this, where they talk about efficiency of competing polices. You know, the U.S. government's not efficient. It doesn't make a profit. The Soviet government's not efficient. It doesn't make a profit. But they stop garbage from happening inside their nation so that you can run a business inside your nation and make a profit. Not so much in Russia, but even there they have businesses that spend less than they take in revenue. They have to, or else they wouldn't be able to run. All right. Governments don't run on a profit. You're not going to make them do it. And if you do it, it's going to be called war.